Shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body. Shalom to the 144,001 May peace and blessings be upon your households. All right. I don't know whether you guys have seen this movie because we all know about Revelation of the Method. And, the people, the elites obviously know who the Israelites are. It's the greatest kept secret. That's, how do you say it? It's the greatest known unknown secret. It's the truth that the elites know, hence the reason why there's so much hell coming upon Jacob, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians. And that's the bulk of the Israelites. Yes, there's Israelite foreigners scattered to the four corners of the earth, but the bulk are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. And Esau knows, the elites know who you are. All right, they know about the prophecies. They like to show in their movies, okay, connecting things to the Israelites, such as Superman, using Hebrew names, the mantle, Kal-El, Jor-El, the mantle, the spiritual power, which the elect are going to get, right? Obviously, that look of Clark Kent, Esau, is demonic. No Jake with an Edomite look is going to get spiritual power unless it'll be on this side and he's an Israelite foreigner, okay? All right, but in the kingdom, no one will look like that. They'll have a royal look with spiritual power, in the spirit, under the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. Also, they make movies about, America being destroyed, which I always used to wonder before I knew who I was. Why is always movies about America being destroyed? Why not different parts of the world? Then you find out America is New Egypt, is Babylon, and also, they make mockery of the return of the Lord Yahweh Shai. Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, right? And in this movie, right, which is more Revelation of the Method, it's meant to be kind of like a black comedy-esque type situation of the last days, but it's centered around that wacky-tacky Christianity. You got this Jake here. What's his name? He was in that movie as well, where everybody's getting. I forgot the movie name. What's his name? Let me get his name out. Cast of Rapture Palooza. What's his damn name? Craig Robinson. All right. He's in quite a few movies. It's like Craig Robinson movies. He was in another movie showing the rapture, man. What was it called again? Craig Robinson Rapture movie.
Rapture Palooza. According to Wikipedia, Rapture Palooza is a 2013 American supernatural comedy film written by Chris Matheson and directed by Paul Middleditch. The film stars Anna Kendrick and John Francis Daly as a young couple who battle their way through a religious apocalypse on a mission to defeat the Beast.
And they show the Beast as a so-called black man, okay? So basically, right, they're calling him the Beast. He's the Antichrist. He's going to turn into, you kill him, he'll become Satan. Centered around that wacky-tacky Christianity BS, right? But the fact of the matter is, these people know, Craig Robinson was in that movie as well, man, where everyone's being raptured. What was that movie called again? Everybody was in, where they all like, Craig Robinson and James Franco Rapture movie. Yeah, this is the end. He was in that too. And this Jake, man, Craig Robinson, whether he's real or not, I keep thinking maybe he could be AI, man, But then again, they show him being beamed up and then being, the Lord letting go of him, letting go of him because he wouldn't show self-sacrifice or whatever. These people know, man, that that time is coming where America's going to be destroyed, and the Lord's going to return. All right. And they like to show in their movies the truth, but they put a comedy spin on it to make you think it's just comedy. It doesn't mean anything. It's not serious business. All right. The Lord is going to return. All right. They show in this movie, someone called Jesus is coming out of the sky on a white horse, right? And there's a flash of light, the individual comes out looking like Caesar, right, on a white horse, and they use this laser, right, to shoot that individual on the white horse, right? And then this so-called God comes down in a white suit, and it's a Moabite saying that he's God and he's fighting Satan at the end. It's a crazy movie. It's done around wacky techie Christianity. But what I want to try to focus on is that we know the elites have weapons that are going to be used when Yahushua returns, makes his second coming. They're going to try and fight him. They're going to try and fight him with their lasers that they have in space, and their lasers that they have on Earth, with their weaponry. They're going to try and use the elements that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has created, right, to try and fight, the Lord. It's like, you're using the elements that the Lord created to try and fight the Lord, which Esau is crazy. But at the end of the day, that's a thought process and the pride Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has put in the mind of these damn devils. And then you got this, this Craig Robinson guy, this actor, man. His name's Craig Robinson, right? Yeah. He plays these crazy roles, and it's like Esau's just like saying, okay, yeah, we use an Israelite for this because it's quite blasphemous, the role, so we don't want to put an Edomite into it. That's how I keep thinking that in my mind. We don't want to put an Edomite into it because otherwise, if we put an Edomite into it, the movie might not come out. We'll probably get blasted, or something will happen. The same way Christopher Reeve was put into a wheelchair for portraying an Israelite, Kalel, all powerful, when he's an Edomite. Showing wearing a mantle with spiritual power. The Lord knocked him off his high horse, right? And that was spiritual in itself, put him in a wheelchair, because as a paraphrasing the scripture, the Lord said that he's seen servants upon horses and princes walking the earth, and Christopher Reeve was a servant, damn devil, that's why they're probably using Craig Robinson, who is an Israelite, playing these roles, I mean, some quite blasphemous roles, man, actually saying, you know what, I'm going to play it and you can hear it. I'm not going to play the images. All right, copyright 1976. I'm not playing the image. I'm just showing you the image of the just showing this like the still, so to speak. That's the laser, right? All right, that's the laser. Now I'm gonna play it, right? Let me see if it works from here. GL laser beam or something. Right. See, there's this rumor going around, this prediction of sorts, that before long, someone who shall remain nameless, Jesus, is gonna come down from the sky and vanquish me. Yeah, but I don't think so. Oh, wow. See that crew? Okay. Primer. Set. Yeah! Bam! So what he shows is basically he's showing how the laser works, knocks a crow or some kind of bird out of the sky. Okay? He knocks a bird out of the sky. And he's saying that, paraphrasing, say that, someone called Jesus is going to come and vanquish the beast. But he's known as a beast in the movie. It's a comedy, right? So based around wacky tacky Christianity, right? But they're showing that, they got weaponry ready to fight the Lord when he returns. All right? So I'm going to play that again quickly, man. Let me see if I can connect it to... Bear with me a second. Jesus.
If I could just have like a little time to think about it.
Because she likes me, right? You don't like him.
You see, my dear, you would be perfectly safe here with me. Become a target just like you. And unlike you, if I'm killed, I won't return as Satan. Why am I using air quotes? I will be Satan.
Yeah, actually...
Hey. You will become a target, but there's a weapon here that very few people know about.
That's
Yes, a real live XGL, TL, GL laser beam or something.
All right.
See, there's this rumor going around, this prediction of sorts, that before long, someone who shall remain nameless, Jesus, is gonna come down from the sky and vanquish me.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
Oh, well.
See that crow? Okay. Primer set.
Right. They haven't got just one laser, they've got numerous lasers like this. You know, there was some footage out quite a while back where they showed the elites in some desert area, right? And they had lasers like probably like 20 times the size of that, man. The earth was shaking and they had like this green laser come out, man. So they've got some weaponry where they're going to try and fight the Lord when the Lord returns, because Esau does not want to go into slavery. And they show you in movies, which is revelation of the method, which is the elites showing you in their movies, because everything's controlled by them. They've got their puppets everywhere to let you know what they're going to do, right, before they do it. Prophesying on the left-hand side. They're going to do it, but they're not going to succeed. They're actually going to think they're going to have a world without Yahweh Bahashim Hashai. I mean, towards the end of this movie, basically what happens is, in the movie, at the end, they electrocute so-called God and so-called Satan. And they have a world where it's a crazy movie where there's no Most High power. I mean, ultimately, that's what Esau's goal is. That's what they want to do. You know, they want to control everything. They want to be God. They want to have their CCTV cameras. They want to have their thought police, you know, like that movie Minority Report. They want to know what you're thinking, what you're doing, where you are. They want to have control of you. They want to put the RFID, CHIP, and you proceed to Revelation 13:16. You know, so they show you what they want to do, but they're not gonna succeed, of course. You know, because Yahweh Bashim Yashai is not a man that he should lie. You know, all right. Esau's just trying to extend his time, but his time is up. Let's go to a couple of scriptures, man. Zechariah 12:3. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all people of the earth be gathered together against it. All right, they're going to come against the Lord, man. Right? Wherever Jake is scattered, they're ultimately going to come against the Lord. New Living Translation. On that day, I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock. All the nations will gather against it to try to move it, but they will only hurt themselves. All right. Let's go to Revelation 16:16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon or Armageddon. All right. And that's going to happen in so-called West Asia. Sorry, the so-called Middle East, which is West Asia. All right. Where all the nations are going to gather together. All the armies are going to gather together to fight. When the Lord returns, right, they're going to stop fighting themselves. They're going to turn and try and fight the Lord. All right. They're going to have their weaponry ready. Hence the reason why Trump has got the Space Force. Okay. He doesn't have these things for no reason, you know. All right. Revelation 19:11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Okay. Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High, Yahweh, the Word of the Most High, Yahweh. Verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Those are chariots and the other angels, man. All right. Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai shall be many. Okay? You're not going to succeed, okay? You're not going to succeed against the Lord, man. All Right? I'm gonna see if I can capture that image where they show that flash of light. I mean, it's a crazy movie. I only watched it because it had some spiritual context to it, like how they had the laser showing and all that. The movie just.
This is for being an asshole.
1 second. I'm not going to play the footage. They're going to show music. I'm not going to play the footage. I'm sorry, I'm not going to play the volume. They're going to try and use a laser against a beast. Watch this. I mean, if Esau strikes me with copyright, I'll just put it on Odyssey. Look, there's a flash of light. And JESUS returning. And this is what they want to do. Look. And they make a comedy out of this, man. Esau's going to pay for this. Look at that. That's the mockery they make, man. You know? But at the end of the day, you know, this is what they have. And the ultimate goal is to use this weaponry that they're building up against the Lord, man, and his people. All right? I'm going to leave it there now. By the way, let's say it again one more time. Copyright 1976. All right? Fair use. All right? Anyway, all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Hashai, Bashem Rakak Wadash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwame Yashrala, Shalom. And P.S. once again, it's called Rapture Palooza. I believe it's on, what did I watch it on? I watched it on Prime yesterday. So you can check it out yourself. Or you also check out this, platform as well, or app. Check it out. Anyway, Shalom.